Welcome back to Dinar Shift, where we cut through the noise and deliver the facts on global currency movements. Lately, the internet has been absolutely on fire with whispers that are sending shockwaves through speculative currency communities. We're talking about alleged bank screen images, specifically from major institutions like Chase and Wells Fargo, purportedly displaying mind-boggling new exchange rates. The buzz suggests the Iraqi Dinar's IQD is showing up at an astonishing rate of 5.03 per dinar, and the Vietnamese Dong, a VND, at a similarly incredible 3.9 per dong. If these numbers were even remotely true, they wouldn't just be news, they'd be a financial tectonic event, a seismic shift capable of reordering global currency markets and instantly changing the financial landscape for millions of people worldwide. The sheer intensity of the excitement swirling around these rumored figures is understandable, especially for those who have followed the speculative journey of the dinar and other emerging currencies for years. Online forums, social media platforms, and video comment sections are a flurry of anticipation, driven by the hope that years of waiting for a significant revaluation might finally be over. People are naturally drawn to the prospect of a massive, sudden increase in the value of their holdings. This intense, almost communal optimism creates a powerful wave of speculation, but it also necessitates an immediate, level-headed analysis to separate what is truly happening from what is merely fervent, wishful thinking circulating in the digital space. However, the magnitude of the claimed rates itself should immediately trigger a sense of healthy skepticism. Currency revaluations of this massive scale, jumps of tens of thousands of %, are extraordinarily rare in modern financial history. They simply do not occur overnight, without exhaustive preparation, and, more importantly, without clear official governmental announcements, international regulatory approvals, and confirmation from credible, mainstream financial institutions. The very nature of global finance demands transparency and coordination for such significant shifts, which is precisely why we must adopt a calm, analytical, and patient approach before taking any action based on viral claims. The digital world, unfortunately, has become a breeding ground for misinformation, which tends to spread fastest when tied to promises of large financial gains. The critical first step in addressing this situation is to ask the most obvious and essential question: are these so-called leaked bank rates real? In the high-stakes world of financial markets, accuracy isn't just important. It's absolutely everything. Over the past several years, numerous alleged leaks concerning the Iraqi dinar and other foreign currencies have appeared online, often accompanied by sensational, attention-grabbing claims that turn out to be either entirely fabricated or gross misinterpretations of legitimate but mundane data. In the current viral case, the focus is on images that claim to show internal bank terminal screens, ostensibly displaying the Iraqi dinar at the 5.03 USD rate and the Vietnamese Dong at a 3.95 USD rate. While a screenshot can certainly be visually compelling and arresting at first glance, it is absolutely crucial for everyone to understand a fundamental digital reality. Screenshots of online dashboards, internal bank systems, or financial terminals can be manipulated with relative ease. Basic graphic editing tools are widely accessible and allow anyone with minimal technical skills to perfectly overlay realistic numbers, create convincing interfaces, and produce images that appear authentic to the casual observer. Even seasoned investors who are not meticulous about cross-checking every piece of information against reputable official sources can sometimes be fooled by such convincing visuals. It's a key defense mechanism against digital deception. Furthermore, major financial players such as Chase and Wells Fargo operate under exceedingly strict internal controls and compliance procedures. These robust frameworks are specifically designed to prevent the appearance of misinformation and maintain systemic market stability. The idea that genuine, dramatic revaluations of this scale would quietly surface through unverified screenshots rather than be accompanied by official press releases, major media coverage, and public statements defies banking logic and protocol. Understanding the rigorous context of global finance is vital. It empowers viewers and those with currency holdings to effectively separate legitimate financial news from pure speculation. This discernment is the cornerstone of maintaining one's financial security and is the only way to avoid making decisions based on unrealistic expectations or unnecessary panic. The circulating images, which attempt to mimic the interface layouts familiar to bank customers or employees, complete with currency pairs, numerical values, and familiar interface icons, exploit our innate trust in institutional appearances. The realism of these digitally crafted images is part of their deceptive power, as even small, subtle changes in layout or font can make them seem entirely authentic to a viewer who is not actively looking for signs of manipulation. In stark reality, the widespread capability to generate convincing, falsified images is a major component of the current online ecosystem, where creators on social media, video platforms, and forums are constantly vying for attention, clicks, and engagement. Therefore, we must approach every viral image with a default setting of skepticism. If the alleged rates for the dinar and the dong were to be taken at face value, they would translate into a surge in value that is truly unprecedented in the history of currency markets. Yet, a fundamental lesson from financial history is that currencies, particularly those of major and emerging nations, do not simply jump by tens of thousands of percent overnight. This kind of volatility would be catastrophic for the entire global economy. Central banks and financial regulators worldwide are explicitly tasked with implementing policies designed to stabilize currencies, prevent the dangers of hyperinflation, and avoid the abrupt, destabilizing spikes that could wreak havoc on trade and investment. Moreover, major international and domestic banks are under a legal and regulatory obligation to report accurate exchange rates to all their customers, investors, and oversight bodies. Any significant failure to do so, especially in an event of this magnitude, would result in severe penalties, massive fines, and irreparable reputational damage for the institutions involved. While the circulating screenshots may be designed to create compelling online content and generate viral excitement, the underlying reality is significantly more ordinary. They are almost certainly the result of digital manipulation, fabrication, or a severe misinterpretation of old or irrelevant data. The rapid, uncritical spread of these images across various platforms perfectly illustrates how quickly financial rumors can gain significant traction, powerfully influencing public perception even before anyone attempts factual verification. In this age, where sensational financial misinformation often travels much faster than official news, awareness and a deep-seated skepticism are absolutely crucial for anyone dealing with foreign currency holdings. To truly understand the claims, exhaustive research into the origins of the images and any legitimate institutional listings becomes necessary. After consulting with various sources, including industry professionals, established financial news organizations, and public exchange rate data, the conclusion becomes exceptionally clear. The alleged numbers are entirely and definitively inconsistent with verifiable reality. Professional contacts within the financial sector have consistently emphasized that no revaluation of this dramatic scale has been either approved or implemented by the Iraqi Central Bank, the State Bank of Vietnam, or any major financial institutions in the United States. This is a consensus view among those who monitor currency markets professionally. In truth, implementing a currency revaluation of this sheer magnitude would require months, if not years, of extensive and complex coordination involving governments, international organizations like the IMF, and a multitude of central and commercial banks. Such an enormous undertaking would inevitably be a matter of massive, prolonged reporting in all mainstream financial media long before any rate adjustments could possibly reach individual banking screens. The overwhelming expert consensus is that these images function as a form of clickbait, specifically designed to exploit the hopes and attract the attention of communities invested in highly speculative currencies. While the human desire to believe in a sudden, life-changing financial windfall is completely understandable, it is equally important for personal financial protection to draw a clear line between hope and cold reality. Neglecting the necessary due diligence and acting on unverified online claims can easily lead to poorly informed investment decisions or, even worse, significant financial losses. Verifying all financial data exclusively through credible, official channels is not just a prudent measure, it is an essential mechanism for protecting one's assets and ensuring every decision is based on verifiable facts. To fully grasp the implausibility of the claimed rates, we must look at the current, verifiable exchange rates and the sheer scale of the purported gains. Presently, the Iraqi Dinar officially trades at approximately 1,310 IQD per USD. This means that a single dinar is worth significantly less than a tenth of 1 US cent. For the dinar to suddenly jump to 5.03 per dinar would represent an increase of more than 650 %, a financial rise that has simply never been observed in modern, regulated currency markets. The number is astronomically divorced from economic reality. The situation with the Vietnamese Dong is similarly implausible. The Dong currently trades at approximately 24,500 VND per USD, meaning one Dong is worth only a tiny fraction of a US cent. A reported exchange rate of 3.95 per Dong implies an inconceivable surge of nearly 97,500,000%. Achieving increases of this magnitude would demand a complete, sudden upheaval and total restructuring of the entire global financial system, involving massive currency re-denominations, unprecedented central bank interventions, and universal international bank approval. There is absolutely no credible evidence that any of these extraordinary processes are remotely underway. While the hypothetical thought of these numbers may inspire fervent excitement among speculative investors, the reality is that they are mathematically and economically unsustainable and simply implausible. A solid understanding of the actual, underlying exchange rates, historical currency trends, and the meticulous mechanisms of currency valuation allows investors to see directly through these types of rumors and effectively avoid being misled by sensationalized, non-factual online content. This foundational knowledge is the most powerful tool for responsible engagement in any currency market. For Iraq to ever achieve a revaluation that would put the dinar anywhere close to the rumored single-digit dollar range, the country would be required to execute a massive, highly complex, and meticulously controlled financial maneuver. Specifically, this would involve drastically shrinking its national money supply, an operation that would see trillions of old dinars removed from circulation, a process known as redenomination, or colloquially described as dropping the zeros. This is a monumental, visible, and internationally reported undertaking. Historically, nations that have suffered from hyperinflation, such as Turkey in 2005, have undertaken such aggressive measures to rebuild fundamental confidence in their national currency. These operations involved replacing older banknotes with a newly denominated series, effectively removing many zeros from all official pricing and accounting. Crucially, the Central Bank of Iraq has made no public announcements indicating any plan for a redenomination of this magnitude. Instead, their stated focus has consistently been on stabilizing the existing exchange rate, ensuring the dinar trades steadily relative to the US dollar, and actively preventing sudden inflationary or deflationary shocks that could destabilize the fragile domestic economy. This stated policy makes the prospect of an unannounced, overnight spike to over $50 per dinar extremely unlikely to the point of impossibility. Currency markets fundamentally operate on a basis of international trust, clear government policy, and robust economic fundamentals. Any sudden, massive revaluation without extraordinary preparation and international oversight would pose a grave risk of catastrophic financial consequences. Furthermore, international financial regulators and major institutions monitor such potential changes with extreme vigilance. They would never permit uncoordinated moves of this scale to occur silently, which means the idea of a completely unannounced, dramatic spike is truly more fantasy than verifiable reality. Vietnam's situation, while different, also does not support the rumor. Unlike Iraq, Vietnam has deliberately allowed its currency, the Dong, to gradually appreciate over a long period, carefully reflecting its stable economic growth and cautiously managed monetary policy. The Vietnamese government has consistently favored small, incremental adjustments to protect its critical export-driven economy from sudden, disruptive shocks that could damage its global trade competitiveness or negatively affect domestic employment figures in export sectors. For this primary reason, a sudden, massive jump to a 3.85 per dong rate would be entirely unprecedented and would directly contradict decades of careful, measured monetary strategy. The Vietnamese state bank closely oversees the foreign exchange market, intervening when absolutely necessary to ensure stability and to prevent major, erratic swings in the dong's value. Incremental strengthening allows international investors, consumers and domestic businesses the confidence to plan and make long-term decisions, effectively preventing the kind of financial chaos that is inevitably caused by sudden, speculative, and unmanaged revaluations. In essence, while the dong has demonstrated modest, controlled upward movement over many years, it has never, ever approached anything remotely similar to the drastic rate claimed in the circulating screenshots. Both the Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong rumors are perfect illustrations of a critical principle in finance: extraordinary claims demand extraordinary, verifiable evidence. And when one looks at current monetary policy and historical precedent, these particular scenarios are rendered economically impossible. Forex analysts who are experienced in foreign exchange markets have already identified multiple, significant inconsistencies within the circulating screenshots. Firstly, the specific formatting of the screens often does not match the known, verified internal systems of major banks. Decimal points are frequently misplaced, and the overall layout fails to follow standard bank compliance protocols. Experienced analysts know that institutions like Wells Fargo or Chase operate under extremely stringent regulatory compliance requirements and would never display unverified, speculative, or clearly incorrect rates to either the public or their internal staff. Authentic internal banking software is meticulously designed for absolute accuracy, complete transparency, and comprehensive auditability, meaning any discrepancy of this magnitude would instantly trigger an internal security review and investigation. Moreover, the images currently in circulation utterly lack any form of corroborating documentation, official timestamps, or any attempt at genuine verification from the banks themselves. If legitimate, profound rate changes of this scale were truly underway, they would be instantly reported across all major financial news outlets like Reuters, Bloomberg, and CNBC, alongside official statements from relevant central banks and regulators. The complete and total absence of any mainstream media coverage whatsoever serves as the single strongest indicator that these screenshots are either completely fabricated, a severe misinterpretation, or a calculated marketing tactic aimed specifically at speculative investor communities. Online forums and various social media platforms are frequently saturated with these types of misinformation campaigns, designed not to convey factual financial news but to generate excitement, clicks, and web traffic. Recognizing these obvious warning signs is absolutely vital for anyone who holds or is contemplating purchasing speculative currencies. For those who currently own Iraqi dinars or Vietnamese dong, the most crucial action is to step back, remain rational, and approach the situation with patience and a grounded mindset. Acting hastily based on unverified online claims dramatically increases the risk of making poor financial decisions or incurring avoidable losses. Reliable and actionable financial information must always be sourced from official government or central bank releases, reputable, established financial news outlets, and experienced, licensed financial professionals. Speculative currency investing is inherently risky by its nature. Many people have held these foreign currencies for long periods, based on the hope of a sudden, dramatic revaluation that may never materialize. Professional financial advisors universally recommend against such strategies precisely because currency valuations are influenced by an exceptionally complex web of factors, including monetary policy, political stability, trade balances, and inflation rates. Even highly experienced Forex traders, who possess access to real-time market data, often encounter completely unpredictable shifts. Basing significant decisions on viral rumors or questionable screenshots can seriously jeopardize financial security and create completely unnecessary stress and anxiety. Therefore, exercising patience, verifying facts through credible and official sources, and maintaining a clear understanding of the broader global economic context are non-negotiable, essential steps for anyone involved in foreign currency holdings. By actively prioritizing the quality and veracity of information over sensationalized online claims, individuals can make more rational, better informed decisions that protect their long-term financial goals and existing short-term holdings. This due diligence is the only reliable path in speculative markets. Let us, for the sake of a thought experiment, briefly indulge the fantasy. Imagine the Iraqi dinar truly did jump to over $5 per unit. It is true that those who purchased millions of dinars for a few $100s would instantly become multi-millionaires overnight. While this scenario is incredibly appealing, the real-world fallout from such an event would be far more complex, potentially chaotic, and fraught with severe consequences. Banks worldwide would be immediately overwhelmed with people rushing to exchange their suddenly valuable currency, and the entire global financial system would face severe, abrupt disruption as long-standing trade agreements, currency valuation models, and international investments were thrown into immediate chaos. Governments and international bodies would almost certainly be forced to impose immediate emergency measures, such as capital controls, exchange limits, or emergency taxes, solely to prevent an economic collapse. Similarly, the sudden, unearned creation of massive wealth could severely destabilize domestic economies, dramatically increase wealth inequality, and trigger massive inflationary pressures that would ultimately harm ordinary citizens who do not hold the dinar. Central banks are mandated to maintain stability, not create economic shockwaves, and they always manage any significant currency adjustments over a period of time and with extreme caution to minimize any possible disruption. Uncontrolled, large-scale revaluations simply do not align with the carefully regulated and managed mechanisms that govern global finance. Hypothetical scenarios such as this one, while certainly entertaining to consider, serve as a potent reminder of precisely why investors must rely on verifiable, credible information and not on wishful thinking when making any financial decisions. Online forums, various social media groups, and specialized messaging platforms often play a significant and sometimes problematic role in amplifying these overly optimistic and ultimately unrealistic rumors about currencies like the Iraqi Dinar or Vietnamese Dong. These communities, driven by excitement, can create a powerful sense of urgency, encouraging members to believe that a life-changing financial gain is truly just around the next corner. The innate human desire for a sudden, massive wealth gain is immensely powerful, and sadly, opportunistic individuals and scammers are skilled at exploiting this hope. They may actively sell exclusive, insider newsletters, charge for special membership access, or claim to possess secret intelligence that supposedly predicts an imminent, certain currency revaluation. While these types of offers may appear momentarily convincing, they are fundamentally designed to profit from a community's hope rather than to provide any reliable, factual financial guidance. Authentic financial professionals operate with a completely different ethos, emphasizing risk management, diversification, and long-term strategic planning instead of promoting get-rich-quick narratives. Understanding this critical distinction is essential for anyone who chooses to navigate the inherently speculative investment spaces. The rapid spread of false or exaggerated information online can easily lead individuals to make hasty, ill-conceived financial decisions, potentially resulting in entirely avoidable financial losses. The viral nature of online content further means that completely unverified rumors can reach tens of thousands of people within a matter of hours, dramatically increasing the likelihood that some investors will choose to act prematurely on non-factual information. Therefore, approaching these online communities with a strong dose of skepticism, actively seeking out advice from licensed professional guidance, and consistently verifying all shared information with officially credible, reputable sources are non-negotiable steps for anyone considering investments in foreign currencies. While dramatic, overnight spikes in currency values are, as we have established, extraordinarily unlikely, a scenario of incremental, measured appreciation over time is a significantly more plausible scenario for both Vietnam and Iraq. Both nations have been consistently implementing strategic policies aimed at stabilizing their respective economies, improving overall fiscal discipline, and carefully managing inflation, all of which are fundamental factors that can contribute to a slow, steady strengthening of their currencies. In Iraq, any sustained political stabilization, long-term infrastructure development, and carefully managed monetary policy could gradually increase global confidence in the dinar. Similarly, Vietnam has already demonstrated a commitment to allowing the dong to appreciate in measured, controlled steps, reflecting genuine economic growth while also strategically preserving its vital export competitiveness over time. In reality, small, single-digit percentage gains annually are far more realistic and likely than the multi-thousand% jumps that are currently rumored. Long-term, foundational improvements in national productivity, strict inflation control, increased international trade, and consistent infrastructure investment can, over time, incrementally increase a currency's intrinsic value, offering modest, sustainable returns to investors who maintain sensible, realistic expectations. Crucially, these types of gains unfold over a period of many years, or even decades, and not as sudden, miraculous windfalls. Understanding this grounded reality helps investors effectively differentiate between online hype and genuinely achievable financial outcomes, allowing them to construct financial strategies that are both sustainable, appropriately risk-managed, and firmly aligned with verifiable economic fundamentals. Being patient, thoroughly informed, and realistic is a foundational requirement when considering any exposure to foreign currency markets. For those genuinely interested in participating in global currency trends without exposing themselves to extreme speculative risks, there are several more measured and regulated approaches available. One highly recommended option is to consider investing in currency exchange-traded funds, ETFs, which are professionally managed funds designed to track a diverse basket of global or emerging market currencies. These provide necessary exposure to currency movements while simultaneously reducing the concentrated risk associated with holding a single, highly volatile currency directly. Another option involves emerging market bond funds, which offer both interest returns and the potential for gains from gradual currency appreciation, allowing investors to benefit from the underlying economic growth in a professionally diversified and heavily regulated structure. A third prudent alternative is to invest indirectly in businesses or stocks that are located in the countries of interest. This approach gives investors indirect exposure to the local economy and currency performance, while strategically spreading risk across multiple sectors and different assets. Each of these alternatives wisely emphasizes diversification, professional oversight, and controlled exposure, making them immeasurably safer than taking speculative bets based on the hope of sudden revaluations. By actively choosing regulated and structured investment vehicles, investors can responsibly participate in global economic trends and potential currency gains without recklessly risking their savings on completely unverified rumors, viral screenshots, or raw internet speculation. In the long-term view, patience, meticulous research, and an unwavering focus on economic fundamentals are the undisputed keys to achieving meaningful, sustainable results in foreign currency investment. After a thorough review and cross-checking of all available and verifiable evidence, the unambiguous conclusion is this: the so-called leaked bank rate images showing the Iraqi Dinar at 5.03 or the Vietnamese Dong at 3.95 are conclusively not authentic. When examined against real-world economic and market data, the numbers are wildly inconsistent and utterly implausible. With the Iraqi Dinar currently trading IQD per USD and the Vietnamese Dong near 24,500 VND per USD, any exchange rate cited in the single or double dollar range is mathematically and economically impossible. Crucially, no official announcements or communications from the Central Bank of Iraq, the State Bank of Vietnam, or any major U.S. financial institution have been released regarding such dramatic, sudden changes. There is also zero confirmation from any credible, independent media sources like Bloomberg, Reuters, or financial regulators. In properly functioning financial markets, events of this monumental scale would never, under any circumstances, go unreported or unnoticed. The images that are circulating widely online are almost certainly either fabricated, digitally manipulated, or fundamentally misinterpreted. They serve as a powerful cautionary tale and a clear reminder that viral screenshots shared across social media and online forums are inherently unreliable as sources of financial news. Understanding the paramount importance of verifying all financial claims exclusively through official, trusted channels is absolutely critical to avoid falling prey to misinformation, speculative panic, or making dangerous, high-risk investment decisions based on fantasy. Even though these particular rumors are false, studying global currencies and their complex movements remains a highly valuable and worthwhile pursuit. However, this study must be approached with a grounded, rigorously realistic mindset, consistently following official central bank updates, monitoring official economic reports, and reading financial news from reputable, established sources provides the only clear and accurate picture of genuine market conditions. Investors should always, without exception, verify every claim multiple times before taking any financial action, whether it involves emerging market investments, currency ETFs, or foreign currency holdings. Currency markets are profoundly influenced by a massive array of interconnected factors, including political developments, international trade dynamics, monetary policy, and inflation rates, which collectively mean that sudden, massive, and unannounced shifts are exceedingly rare. By remaining informed through these credible, fact-checked channels, investors can effectively learn to identify truly realistic trends, gradual, incremental changes, and genuine opportunities for strategic participation in global markets. Educating oneself in this methodical way naturally reduces exposure to online scams, deliberately misleading content, or speculative hype, while also cultivating a deeper, more profound understanding of international finance and macroeconomics. A combination of realistic expectations, coupled with patience and careful research, forms the most solid foundation for successful, long-term, and responsible currency investment strategies. If this comprehensive analysis has helped you to make sense of the recent viral rumors, we strongly encourage you to share this information with others who may have been confused or misled by similar sensational claims. Spreading accurate, fact-checked information is the single most effective way to counter the widespread, destructive influence of viral but false content and actively encourages everyone to approach currency speculation with the necessary responsibility and skepticism. We also recommend subscribing to platforms and channels that consistently prioritize evidence-based reporting over sensationalized claims, which keeps you reliably informed without feeding unnecessary hype. There are dedicated online resources that diligently compile verified updates, news, and discussions from highly credible sources about currencies like the Iraqi Dinar. While no single website should ever replace personalized professional financial advice, following such structured platforms can help investors learn from historical trends, track genuine developments, and gain valuable insights from experienced, professional analysts in a much safer, structured, and fact-based way. Engaging with fact-based communities fosters informed discussion, facilitates the sharing of strictly verified news, and helps in the collective avoidance of risky speculation. It also powerfully reinforces the fundamental principle that truly extraordinary claims, such as a sudden, massive currency spike, demand an equally extraordinary amount of verifiable, indisputable evidence, and that a combination of patience, skepticism, and meticulous research is the ultimate shield for anyone navigating the volatile foreign currency markets. As we conclude, the key takeaway is now clearer than ever before: dramatic, unannounced, overnight currency revaluations on the scale suggested in the viral images are virtually impossible, and investors must base all financial decisions on thoroughly verified information rather than unfounded online speculation. By wisely focusing on the more plausible scenario of gradual currency appreciation, tracking verifiable incremental economic improvements, and seeking measured, informed exposure to global markets through regulated vehicles, investors can participate responsibly without putting their financial security at risk. Gaining a genuine understanding of the real, world economic mechanisms behind currency valuation, central bank policies, and international market dynamics is an infinitely more valuable approach than blindly chasing unsubstantiated rumors or sensationalized viral images. Continuing to educate yourself, following trusted financial news sources, and verifying every single claim before committing to action ensures that your approach remains rational, strategic, and most importantly, sustainable for the long term. Staying patient and grounded in the facts allows you to be prepared for and take advantage of genuine, realistic opportunities while confidently avoiding the pitfalls and risks created by pervasive online hype and misinformation.